Hello and welcome back to THM, and before we get started, if you want to keep seeing great content like this video, don't forget to subscribe. So today, as per our latest Twitter poll, you guys chose me to have a look at the best looking British touring cars from 2001 to 2009. Now, there's absolutely zero criteria or logic behind these selections, it's purely 5 of my favourite looking cars. I'm not taking liveries into account too much here because that's a whole separate matter. It's purely the shape and design of the car. If you don't agree, let me know in the comments what you would have chosen your top 5. Now, I've got to be honest with you, I've been a bit of a cop out here and I've not ordered the cars as they're all equally as great looking and I could have been here for days trying to order them. Now, let's set the scene a little. At the end of the 2000 season, the Btcc headed in a new direction, scrapping the old Super Touring regulations in favour for a low budget, more production based series. Admittedly, it did lose a lot of manufacturers and fans alike. The early racing wasn't the best, but it helped shape what the Btcc is today, as well as seeing entries from some really good looking cars. Let's jump into my top 5. We start off with the beautiful Pininfarina penned Peugeot 406 Coupe, which started its life in the Btcc when the rules changed in 2001. The drivers for that season were touring car legends Steve Soper and Matt Neal, as well as Dan Eves and motorbike racer Aaron Slight. The car had a pair of third places in 2001 courtesy of Dan Eves. In 2002, Peugeot pulled out their manufacturer-backed efforts, partially due to the car being too long to tackle the UK's twisty tracks, and was taken over by Team Halfords, who ran 1992 champion Tim Harvey, Dan Eves once more and Carl Breeze. Eves again took one podium place outright, but him and Harvey came first and third in the independent standings. Having missed 2003, the car re-emerged halfway through the 2004 season with John George running it. The car again was unsuccessful and never reappeared on the Btcc stage again, leaving the series with a total of 55 entries, 0 wins, 0 poles and 0 fastest laps. Next up, we have the Lexus IS200 2001, again introduced to adhere to the new regulations. ABG Motorsport entered this stealthy looking rear-wheel drive machine, which was unusual in the British touring cars at the time. Kurt Luby, Tommy Erdos and Steve Sutcliffe drove the car in 2001, and the car had a host of top 6 finishes, although missing the first round entirely, mostly battling with the previously mentioned Peugeot 406s. The car was withdrawn at the end of the season and wouldn't be seen again, although the IS200 did appear later in the decade, a real shame to a promising car and a beautiful one at that. Third is a bit of a guilty pleasure car for me, the Malaysian Proton Impian. Somewhat ironically, Impian translated from Malaysian means dream, make of that what you will, and despite being fairly useless was a really good looking race car. First raced in 2002, Proton acquired a really strong lineup with race winners Phil Bennett and the late David Leslie. Leslie managed a few podiums and 7th in the standings, whilst Bennett only managed 16th. Both drivers were kept for 2003, but the car finished no higher than 5th place at Mondello Park in Ireland. A new international lineup was announced for 2004 with South African racer Sean Watson-Smith and home country hero Farik Harriman. There was a further decline in results, and at the end of the season, Proton left Britain for good, returning to the Asian touring car series. Penultimately, we have by far the most successful car in this lineup, the Honda Integra Type R. The car ran from 2005 to 2011, and the car was so strong it only retired due to a change in regulations. In total, it won 2 teams championships, 2 drivers' titles and 27 race wins. In its initial entry, it blitzed the opposition, with Matt Neal winning the 2005 and 2006 titles, with teammate Dan Eves picking up a number of wins, including the first ever triple win at one event. It ran up to 2011 with drivers such as Gareth Howell, Gordon Shedden, Mike and Andrew Jordan, Paul O'Neill, as well as a whole host of other drivers taking the seat. A true icon of Btcc history and a great looking car at that. Last but certainly not least, the legendary MG ZS. Entered late in 2001, the car took the only non-Vauxhall win that season, although the car wasn't eligible for points. In 2002, there were 4 MGs, 2 works entries in Anthony Reid and Warren Hughes, and 2 Atomic Kitten cars, driven by Gareth Howell and a young Colin Turkington. The car came second in the team's championship that year. In 2003, MG entered 3 works-backed cars, with Reid, Hughes and Turkington taking stage once more. The car took 3 wins, but slipped to 3rd in the Manufacturers' Championship. MG withdrew manufacturer backing in 2004, with Reid and Turkington driving for the team. They went on to win the Independents' Championship that year. Jason Hughes also entered a ZS in the championship, but there was only 2 MGs on the grid for 2005, with Rob Collard and Jason Hughes at the wheel. Collard managing 2 wins in the process. In 2006, the MG switched colours to the orange of RAC, with Turkington and Collard at the wheel. In 2007 and 2008, there were only the bioethanol entries of Jason Hughes and Fiona Leggett, and after 2008, the MG disappeared from the grid, racking up 15 wins in its career. So there you go, that was my top 5 best looking British touring cars of the 2000s. What do you think I missed out on, and have you got any memories of these cars? As always, give us a like, share and subscribe, and comment below whatever you thought should have made the top 5. Thank you, see you next time.